Nobody told her Janet Jackson was walking through that door, and when she did, the whole room stopped. No press release. No red carpet announcement. No publicist coordination. Just Janet. In the building. Unannounced, and what happened next had the entire internet losing its mind. Before we get into what was said, and more importantly, what it means, you need to understand exactly who we're talking about. Lizzo. A woman who spent 2 decades pouring every ounce of herself into an industry that was never built for her. A woman who clawed her way from playing the flute on street corners to selling out arenas. Every room she wasn't invited into, she built her own. Every door that stayed closed, she walked through the window, and Janet Jackson. The woman. The legend. The architect of modern pop performance. A woman who survived the most brutal takedown in entertainment history. Her own career nearly erased in real time on live television, and rebuilt herself into an untouchable icon anyway. When those two names exist in the same room? That's not just a celebrity moment. That's a transfer of power. The occasion was the BET Awards. Lizzo had just been handed the Icon of the Year title. And here's where it gets interesting, because a name like that carries weight. Icon. Not fan favorite. Not best performance. Icon. That's a title the industry reserves for people it's ready to finally stop ignoring. But let's be real. Lizzo had been through the storm. Just 12 months before standing on that stage, headlines were trying to bury her. Lawsuits. Former dancers speaking out. A PR crisis that would have ended careers with less muscle. The internet had already written its think pieces. The industry had already started looking the other way, and yet, she walked to that microphone.
Saying that title out loud.
20 years, she said. 20 years of being told her dreams needed to fit someone else's blueprint. 20 years of being the one who poured from her own cup so others could overflow. She listed what she'd done in a single year alone: artist, actress, director, choreographer, creative director, stylist, designer, writer, producer, chef. She graduated, while everyone was busy writing her off. She was building an empire, and then she said something that stopped the room cold. She said she wondered, just for a moment, if she was supposed to feel uncomfortable saying the word icon out loud. Like maybe she wasn't supposed to own it. Like maybe she owed someone an apology for getting here, and then she let that thought go, because she worked her ass off. 20 years. And she was accepting what she earned, not with arrogance, but with gratitude. Now here's where the story gets its teeth. Because earlier in the night, Lizzo had planned a whole entrance. A Janet Jackson walk, she called it. The slow, deliberate, controlled power strut. Only those who studied greatness would know what that means. She was going to pay homage without making it obvious. A private tribute embedded in a public moment. She did not know Janet was there. When her name was announced as the surprise guest, Lizzo completely unraveled. In the best possible way. She was gagging. She ran. She forgot her choreography. She held Janet like the universe had physically handed her something she'd been praying for in private, and what she said in that moment wasn't scripted. You can't script that kind of vulnerability. She looked at Janet Jackson and said, "There would be no me without you." That's not a quote for a magazine. That's a confession. That's a woman telling the woman who built the blueprint that she has been quietly following it for 20 years, in the dark, without anyone watching, and Janet showed up. No announcement. No press strategy. No coordinated brand moment. She just came, and that's the part the industry doesn't know what to do with. Because Lizzo had been written off. The narrative had already turned. The comment sections had already gone cold. And then the woman who survived worse than any of them, who had her own career almost erased on the biggest stage in history, walked into that room and said with her presence alone, "I see you." After the speech, the cameras caught them together. Lizzo telling Janet she didn't even know her name, one of the women in her team, and complimenting her anyway. The room dissolved into applause. It was chaotic and raw and real in a way that award show moments almost never are. The speech ended without a tidy bow. No grand resolution. No, the lawsuits are settled. No, and everything is fine now. Just a woman standing in the wreckage of everything the last year tried to do to her, wearing a title she said she would continue to earn.
Legacy I care about. So tonight, I will wear this title loud and proud. Because I promise to continue to.
The investigation into those former employee claims is still ongoing. The legal proceedings haven't gone silent. The internet's opinion of Lizzo shifts with the algorithm, but Janet Jackson walked into that building unannounced, and something tells me that wasn't by accident.
One day, people.
So here's what I want you to sit with: when the industry tries to cancel someone, and then one of its most untouchable legends shows up in that person's most vulnerable moment, who is the industry actually protecting? If this story made you think, subscribe to Celebzeno. We cover what the headlines skip, the receipts they try to erase, and the moments that tell you more than any press release ever will.